What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Now, I know I haven't been doing videos a lot lately. I've been really busy, but today I decided, why not? It's been, what, a month? Yeah, roughly about a month. So, coming at you with another 3D printing video, and I got my hands on yet another printer. And before I go any further, I just want to let you guys know, yes, you guys can see my lab. I am doing a video on my lab, what I'm using, where I work, all that fun stuff is coming soon. I'm actually working on it as we speak. But until that video is done, we're doing another unboxing video. Yeah, I got my hands on another printer. Yeah, man. Say hello to the Anycubic Photon Mono X, one of Anycubic's large-scale printers. I think they just came out with their M3 series, so these bad boys are on a nice little discount. So we're going to crack this thing open, we're going to get it set up, we're going to do our first print, and we're going to see how it comes out. But first, let's get a little word in from our sponsor.
Are you mesmerized by the rotating Blastoise that's sitting on your screen right now? Or perhaps you're one of the many people who chose Charmander as their very first starter. Or are you some of the people who chose Bulbasaur and ended up with a Venusaur? Or perhaps you're just a fan of all three. Whatever the case may be, you can always find something of interest on my Etsy shop, like this Green Ranger Chibi figurine. Look at that. Or maybe you're a fan of the Red Ranger. Just look at those details. Or if you're into Pokemon like I am, maybe you might be into this articulated Steelix. Go pick one up. Go make your friends jealous. Or stick to the original Kanto line like this Onyx, fully articulated, waiting for you to go buy it. Whatever the case, there's always something for everybody on my Etsy shop, so go pick something out and help support the channel. Or if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you can go ahead and pre-order my comic book, The Super 6. Pre-order bonuses is wide open and you get this exclusive overcharge cover. Pre-orders end June 3rd and the book launches June 17th, so go ahead and get that. Or you can go ahead and check out my Patreon. For $3 a month, you can say thank you, or for $20 a month, you'll get a very special loot box full of random prints that you might have seen in my store, or maybe might be something I haven't really printed yet. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, this will help support the channel. So go ahead and check out any of those things. I'm not a sponsored YouTuber, guys, but I do have a lot of things and ways that you can help support the channel. So go ahead and check out what I have to offer, and I hope you guys do help your boy out. Now, back to the video.
Now with that out of the way, let's crack this bad boy open, see what we're working with here. Now, before we get started, I want to point out that I do have an Elegoo Saturn in my lab. Now, to my knowledge, Anycubic was the first 3D printing company out in China to ever start doing 3D printing. Then came Elegoo, which is what I got here. Now, the Anycubic Photon Mono X is the equivalent of the Saturn here. Now, I've had pretty good success with the Saturn. It is large scale. It does have its issues sometimes. I did have to replace the LCD screen in here twice because the first one was defective and the second one just didn't work. So I was able to get that done, finished. It works beautifully, but now I've got my hands on the Anycubic Photon Mono 4K and then a Photon Mono here, and these two are great. So basically the Photon Mono X are just large scale versions of this. This 4K printer, the Mono 4K, is fantastic. The resolution that you get on some of these prints is just great. And I just finished two of these Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Chibis, the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger over here, which if you want to get one there on my Etsy shop, go check it out. It'll be fun. So let's get over here to unboxing this bad boy.
Alrighty, well, I guess as I'm doing a time lapse of me taking this thing out of the box, I think it's very important that I go over some of the specs with you guys. Now, Anycubic, I have to sadly say it wasn't one of my first printers. It was actually Elegoo. I got my first resin printer with an Elegoo Mars 2 Pro. You can go ahead and watch that video. And I was very fond of it, but when I heard that Anycubic, as well as some other companies out there, were doing their own things, I thought I'd get my hands on something a bit different than Elegoo. Now, Anycubic, for those of you who don't know, actually started the 3D printing game company out there in China, and then not soon afterwards, Elegoo kind of followed in suit, as well as 10, 20 other companies that are out there. So Elegoo is kind of leading the charge right now in terms of their fantastic resin printers. They do have FDM printers, but I haven't really gotten my hands on one of those yet. But I've got my hands on some of their resin printers, just like their Photon S, their 4K Mono, as well as their original Mono. All are fantastic printers, and I also have a wash and cure station that just works perfectly. So Let's go over some of the specs on this thing. This thing is packing an 8.9 4K monochrome LCD screen, and if you know anything about resin printing, the monochrome screen is where it's at. This thing is going to have an extended lifetime, about 2,000 if not more hours of printing time. Now, if you're familiar with Elegoo, Elegoo has their Saturn, which I also did a video on. This is their equivalent. So we are going to see which one actually works better. I'm kind of leaning towards Anycubic, I'm not gonna lie. This thing has a fast printing speed, about 3 times faster than the original Photon, with a large build volume of 192 by 120 by 245. That's in millimeters. Not really sure what it is in inches, but I work in millimeters, so that sounds pretty damn good to me. And apparently this thing has an app remote control that you can actually catch the prints and watch the prints and set up prints from your phone. I didn't really test that feature in this video. I apologize. Maybe I'll end up doing a updated video on that. But as well as anything else, like I said, this thing is 4K and its printer size is actually really big, 270 by 290 by 475. And it's not that heavy. You can actually pick this thing up and move it around. I personally keep this thing in my garage with the rest of my other printers, and of course the resolution on this thing on the X and Y is 0.05 millimeters. Of course that's at the 4K level, but then the Z is at 0.01, so you can get some pretty awesome detailed prints out of this thing, and I'm actually very impressed with what Anycubic has actually done. Now this thing is actually on sale, just like I said in the beginning of my video, and I think I said it at the end of my video. This thing is actually on sale because Anycubic came out with their M3 line, which looks fantastic. Large scale printers that have, some of them have a automatic fill vat, so you don't have to worry about running out of resin while you're printing. This thing looks really cool. I think Uncle Jesse did a video on it back in the day. Now you can go ahead and use their Anycubic slicer software. I personally don't use it. I was a fan of Shitubox when I first started off resin printing, but I have since then upgraded to Lychee. I've gone over to the dark side with Lychee. Lychee is probably one of the best resin printer slicer software that I've ever used before in my life. I have my support set in. It's like gold when you hear those supports kind of just rip off. So if you want me to do a video on Lychee slicing, I can do that for you guys. Other than that, this thing is actually really cool. I really want to check out this phone app to see what it's like. So I got this thing perfectly leveled. I'm putting on the vat, putting in the peg so the vat doesn't come out, and we are going to get started with our first print here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we're going to move on over to Lychee. Now, I've learned that Lychee is actually a lot better than Shitubox. Shitubox is kind of for beginners. The auto feature where you can put in your supports and all that stuff is really handy, but I moved on over to Lychee and I have got my support settings dialed into where there is no damage whatsoever on any prints that I've done ever since I started using this thing. But it's really cool. It's like $3 a month, hashtag not sponsored. I'm just telling you, move over to Lychee. It's actually a lot better. I got this Moon Knight chibi figure. It's all in pieces here. Originally when I first did this, I did it on my Elegoo Saturn, but I just got another order for this. So I'm going to go ahead and slice it for my new printer, my Mono X. So I got to go to 3D printers here. I got to add the printer, and Lychee has everything just dialed in for you. So we're looking for, look, they even got the M3 series in here already. These guys don't waste time. So we got the Anycubic Photon Mono X, which is just right here. Once you dial it in, the bed plate automatically changes up, and it's pretty much somewhat the same size as the original printer, as the Elegoo Saturn. Just it's a bit more. I want to say it's roughly the same, a little bit the same. Might be a bit bigger because I know between Elegoo and Anycubic, they're like a rivalry, so sometimes you might get bigger prints. All right, so this is going to take about 5 hours and 14 minutes, and this is just estimated time. Now, that 1.5 second exposure time, my Photon 4K, Photon Mono 4K, actually has that curing time. I don't think I've ever changed it, and when I did it for the first time, I was a little bit skeptical that it was going to work, but it ended up working, so don't really have any complaints there. So we're going to plug this thing in, and we're going to see how well it works. So let's give it a go. All right, so this is the resin that I'm using. It's called the Jangahe.
I don't know how to pronounce this. So yeah. Alright, so this printer is now going to start going. I had a specific flash drive for this thing, but it didn't work. So I pulled my stick over from my Photon S, which is the black one over there, and it works. So I don't know why this thing is being picky. I have two separate drives here that it doesn't want to take. So I have to figure out why that's a thing. But we got the first layer in. This thing is going to take approximately 6.5 hours. I don't know if you guys can see that. But that is in, it's doing its thing. I'll check back with you guys in 6.5 hours. Oh, it's moving. This thing is really quiet. Alright. Alright, 6.5 hours, see ya.
Well, just as I suspected, I knew that 1.5-second curing time wasn't going to cut it. So let's go back to the drawing board and let's see if we can update these settings and make sure that this thing can actually print.
Alright, so fun fact, the customer actually asked for the Moon Knight to be printed in white. So I'm going to be using this rich opto photosensitive resin, 1,000 grams of it. Looks like a pretty pure white. So I'm going to throw it in the printer and see what it does.
So I did some behind the scenes work for you guys. I went back into Lychee and I changed that 1.5-second exposure time up to 4.5 seconds. Now I know that's a bit long. Some people like to do between 2 and 5 and kind of hit the sweet spot of 3 seconds exposure time, but I decided to do 4.5 because this is for a customer and I wanted to make it look nice. So this is it. This is done printing. Everything looked like it survived the entire printing process, and I'm really excited to get this thing off of the print bed, put it together and look at it and see how it looks. I'm really stoked. So let's get to that part. And there it is, the fruits of my labor. Spinning right there on that display stand. That chibi Moon Knight looks great, and I gotta give it to the rich opto white. It really does bring out that pureness that is in the resin. So this printer does a really good job, and you can see the finer details in this Moon Knight. Now I do apologize if you can't get the full detail in this video right here. My camera was acting up, didn't want to focus properly, so I do apologize. But take it from me, who is seeing it in person, and the customer who is probably going to get this and be excited about it. They can see every single nook and cranny detail that is coming with this figure. And I am really, really super excited to kind of do more with this printer. This is a really good printer. So let's see what else I can make happen on this thing.
Alright guys, so that just about wraps up this video. What do I think about the Anycubic Photon Mono 4K? That is not what this is called. What do I think about the Anycubic Photon Mono? Photon Mono X. There we go. Got it. What do I think about the Anycubic Photon Mono X? Well, it is another large-scale printer, and it does a fantastic job, as you guys can see, by this Moon Knight action figure, chibi action figure that I did for a customer. It is a 4K, so a lot of the things that I've heard about the 4K is because the pixels are so spread out along the panel that you're not getting real 4K resolution. So actually the smaller 4K printers is like the Anycubic Photon Mono 4K or the Mars 3 are the ideal, but it actually just comes down to how well you slice your files and throw it onto the printer. So this one actually came out really good. The detail on it is actually pretty damn exquisite. I can deal with it. So I give this printer a solid 8 out of 10. It's big, it's nice, and if you're looking to do bigger prints, it's actually for you. It is kind of pricey though, sitting at about $300–400 on Anycubic's website. But the good news is that since Anycubic has just unleashed their M3 line, or M3, 3M, whatever, the newest line of printers, is that these printers here, the originals, are actually going for a heavily discounted price. So you might get a good price on anycubic.com, or you can go check out Amazon or any other retailer and see if you can get a better deal if you're looking for a large scale printer. So this thing is probably going to be my new favorite printer. It's okay, Saturn, it's okay. I'm still going to use you. But I like the sleek design, I like everything about it. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Please like and subscribe, and if you guys are interested in more videos, let me know. I'll be doing, I know I say this every video, but I'm going to be trying to be doing more videos. In the meantime, go check out my Etsy shop, check out HeroicStudiosMedia.com, perhaps purchase and pre-order one of our comic books, or think about joining the Patreon where you'll get a loot box of cool little minis like this every single month. So that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you guys do enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys next time with another awesome video. Take it easy.